Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all to my YouTube video channel Comprehensive Pharmacognosy Review. Today I will be discussing the topic in human nutrition: discontinue or stop drinking cattle milk and be careful. Let's start the discussion. We will be comparing Western versus Old World's dairy cows. Old world cow, for example Indian or Pakistani cow cattle, has hump and flap beneath the neck, produces milk containing A2 beta casein protein. The mutant cow, for example Jersey cow, Jersey is not a cow cattle, has no hump and flap, contains both A2 beta casein and A1 beta casein proteins. As I have already told you, today's topic is discontinue ingesting cow cattle's milk and be careful. Don't provide it to children as well. In the two images, we see that the mutant Western cow cattle produces A1 milk, which is bad for health. The old world cow cattle, that is the local cattle, produces A2 milk and is good for health. Today I would like to discuss milk, which is a bounty of God Almighty, Allah, and converted into poison. People know about each and everything but do not know what to give their children for eating and drinking. They do not know what their sons and daughters are eating and drinking. This is a dilemma of our society, that milk is available in two categories, A1 and A2 forms of milk. In Pakistan, 100 years before, was an inventory of 100% A2 milk. It was by our local breeds of cow cattle and cow buffaloes. The local cow cattle has an identification that it has an upper hump and a flap beneath the neck and above the breast. This particular species is not in vogue nowadays. It is due to an oppression of the society on this species. Scientists are worried, astonished and or surprised that human beings are the creatures who consume the milk of an animal species whose milk turned into poison the world over. The hormone contained in this milk is specifically for the calves of this cow cattle and not for the infants of the human beings. So please remember that cow cattle milk is primarily for the calf. Our local extinct cow cattle produced A2 milk, which contained proline amino acid. Please remember, old breed of local cow cattle milk contains A2 beta casein protein, which is safe. This contains proline amino acid. This is the most important point. This is the biologic description, the 2D structure of amino acid proline. This is just for your reference. Scientists are worried about how A2 milk turned into A1 milk. The scientists postulate that artificial insemination is one of the reasons. The Australian and American bull's semen injected into our local breed of cow cattle changed the species of our local cow cattle and it started producing A1 milk. Now let us revise the reasons. Crossbreeding with English bull cattle and artificial insemination in Pakistan started in 1985. Look at these cow cattle. All these breeds do not possess humps and flaps. Our local breeds of camel, goat, sheep, donkey and horse produce A2 milk. It is just like mother's milk, which contains A2 milk. Camel, sheep, goat, donkey, horse and mother's milk contain A2 casein protein. These are the images of different ruminants which produce A2 milk naturally. The A2 milk produced by the buffaloes is still intact and good for health. The chart shows that goat milk, sheep milk and cow cattle milk are very close to the mother's milk. This cow cattle milk has now been poisoned and must be forgotten for drinking purposes. A1 protein is the root cause of many diseases. In the new hybrid breed of cow cattle, which includes Australian and American species, the amino acid proline has been replaced with amino acid histidine containing A1 casein protein. This is the biologic description and the 2D structure of amino acid histidine. This is just for your reference. This is a blunder committed by our successive governments. These governments did not offer subsidies to our farmers as granted in the Western countries, the farmers were never provided insurance in case of loss of agricultural produce due to theft and or natural calamities. Hence our organic produce changed into poisoned ones. The hybridization has changed the entire local breed of the species, which does not possess the humps and flaps. World's highest milking Gerlando cow cattle breed 127 kg milk producing record. The cow cattle have been virtually converted into a milk producing machine and nothing else. A new species has been developed through genetic engineering, producing 127 kg of milk in one day. These modified species produce milk for 4 to 5 years only. On the other hand, we are establishing organ transplants, dialysis centers and hospitals. The government set up the Pakistan Kidney Liver Institute and Research Center for PKR 22 billion. Milk produced by grazing ruminants, pure butter, pure ghee, beef and local hen eggs be provided to the general public. If GMO foods are banned, it will minimize the workload on our hospitals. In Pakistan, grazing cow's milk, organic butter, beef and chicken fed on organic feed must be made available to the general public. It is a tedious task for the government. These are the images of white butter, pure ghee, cut-off beef, local chickens, eggs. The crossbreeding of cow cattle creates a problem. After 3 to 4 generations, A1 milk converts into A2 milk. This A2 milk then again reconverts into A1 milk. Now let us discuss the reasons. How does this happen? This is due to crossbreeding with English bull cattle. Artificial insemination in Pakistan started in 1985, which has already been mentioned to you. In comparison to A2 protein milk, nowadays A1 protein milk is the most regularly available milk in the world markets. Artificial insemination causes a major problem. After 3 to 4 generations, A1 protein changes into A2 protein and then back into A1 protein. In Pakistan, corn, soya and GMOs are fed to animals for producing more milk. After artificial insemination, AI, with the western cow cattle species, milk production increases 5 to 6 fold. However, its use in buffalo is low due to poor conception rates achieved through AI, especially with frozen semen. This image shows cows are artificially inseminated by palpating the animal through the rectum and passing the insemination tool through the cervix. The new Australian, American and European cow cattle produce A1 protein milk. Over the years, the animals were fed genetically modified GMOs, forage and foods. GMO soy and GMO corn seeds will soon be arriving in Pakistan for cultivation. The dairy farmers of Pakistan opined that PKR 70 per litre to PKR 100 per litre of milk is not a feasible selling price. Due to GMO foods, the milk production of the western cow cattle species increases 4 to 5 fold. Let's discuss the side effects of milk comprising A1 casein protein. Lactose is a disaccharide that naturally occurs in milk and milk products. All of us vary in the amount of lactose we can digest. As we age, we have less level of the enzyme lactase that breaks down lactose. Some ethnic backgrounds, such as those of Asian descent, naturally have less lactase and tend to be more likely to have lactose intolerance. Milk digesting enzyme level decreases after 4 to 5 years in children. Only 10% of people possess normal levels and the remaining 90% of the others do not have this enzyme. Only 10% of people possess normal levels and the remaining 90% of the others do not have this enzyme. Due to higher levels of estrogen and oxytocin, our girls have early onset of menstruation at the ages of 8 to 9 years. High estrogen levels in boys delay their puberty and they have a late formation of the beards. Due to this problem, they have bigger bellies. In the United States of America, a 7-year-old girl in class 1 had menstruation. Regarding these problems, lots of research papers are available on the internet. Let's revise some of the important side effects produced by the milk comprising A1 casein protein. These are digestive problems, higher risk of cancer of breast and ovaries in females, cancer of lungs and prostate in males, high antibiotic resistance, acne, autism, schizophrenia, Parkinson's disease, osteoporosis and broken bones, cardiovascular stroke, CVS, asthma, leaky gut and or irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. This is an autoimmune disease. Early puberty in girls, now it is 9 to 11 in females. It is delayed in boys 18 to 20 years. The calcium of milk weakens the bones. In Scandinavian countries, the maximum number of bone diseases occur, that is osteoporosis. It is due to inadequate sunlight that helps to form vitamin D. Vitamin D has a role in making strong bones. Professor T. Colin Campbell had viewed that if one wants to destroy the bones, one should drink cow cattle milk. Mainly vitamin D is involved in making stronger bones rather than calcium. The milking machines produce infection with sores and mastitis in the nipples, leading to inflammation and pus. Antibiotics is given to control this infection, and pus cause a higher level of antibiotic resistance in the cows. This pus and antibiotics secreted in the milk and consuming this type of milk cause acne in young girls, leaky gut syndrome and or irritable bowel syndrome, IRBS, are examples of autoimmune diseases. This image shows A2 beta casein and A1 beta casein. At position 67, the amino acid proline hinders the cleavage, whereas at position 67, histidine readily allows cleavage. This is the structure of beta casomorphin 7, BCM7. Now this BCM7 is considered as the main culprit producing side effects. This image shows the amino acids of A2 like beta casein and A1 like beta casein. See and observe that at 67th position proline is there, and at the 67th position histidine is also there. After gastrointestinal digestion or food processing, what happens with A2 and what happens with A1? Just see and observe that in A2 like beta casein, proline resists the cleavage. No beta casomorphin formation is there. In A1 like beta casein, histidine allows cleavage. There is formation of beta casomorphin 7. This beta casomorphin 7 is also known as BCM7, and this BCM7 contains 7 amino acids. This is the main culprit responsible for the side effects of milk, and this milk is A1. Consumption of milk containing both A1 beta casein and A2 beta casein proteins worsened post-digestive symptoms. Consumption of both A1 beta casein and A2 beta casein together were shown to increase expression of inflammatory biomarkers such as C-reactive protein CRP and the complement protein C1q. Consumption of only A2 beta casein did not show the same effects, suggesting that only A1 beta casein has inflammatory properties in vivo. There are several types of casein in milk. Beta casein is the second most prevalent and exists in at least 13 different forms. The two most important forms are A1 beta casein milk from breeds of cows that originated in Northern Europe is generally high in beta casein. These breeds include Holstein, Friesian, Ayrshire and British Shorthorn. A2 beta casein milk that is high in A2 beta casein is mainly found in breeds that originated in the Channel Islands and southern France. These include Guernsey, Jersey, Charolais and Limousin cows. Regular milk contains both A1 and A2 beta casein, but A2 contains only beta casein. Some studies suggest that A1 beta casein may be harmful and that A2 beta casein may be harmful and that A2 beta casein is a safer choice. Adverse claims about A1 protein. Beta casomorphin 7 BCM7 is an opioid peptide released during the digestion of A1 beta casein. It's the reason why some people believe regular milk to be less healthy than A2 milk. A few research groups suggest that BCM7 may be linked to type 1 diabetes, heart disease, infant death, autism and digestive problems. While BCM7 affects one's digestive system, it's still unclear to what extent BCM7 is absorbed into one's blood. Studies have not found BCM7 in the blood of healthy adults who drink cow's milk, but a few tests indicate that BCM7 may be present in infants. Type 1 diabetes is typically diagnosed in children and characterized by a lack of insulin. Several studies indicate that drinking A1 milk during childhood increases one's risk of type 1 diabetes. Heart disease. Two observational studies link A1 milk consumption to an increased risk of heart disease. Sudden infant death syndrome (SIDS). Some researchers have speculated that BCM7 may be involved in some cases of SIDS. Autism. In theory, peptides like BCM7 might play a role in the development of autism. Adverse claims about A1 protein. Digestive health. In fact, studies indicate that milk components other than lactose may cause digestive discomfort called milk intolerance. Additionally, animal and human studies suggest that A1 beta-casein may increase inflammation in the digestive system. Growing evidence suggests that beta-casein triggers adverse digestive symptoms in some people. We should revert to our forefathers' diet plan and ingest cold-pressed white butter. Type 1 diabetes, 60% to 70% is caused due to the consumption of A1 milk in children. The mothers of these children must abstain from giving cow cattle milk to them. In yesteryears, if the calf of the local breed of cow cattle expired, this mother cow stopped producing milk for 2 days. This local breed was quite a sensitive species. Now let us discuss some of the international research papers. Beta-casein, A1 ischemic heart disease, mortality and other illnesses. Here we show that correlation of the calculated consumption of the milk protein beta-casein A1 excluding milk protein in cheese against ischemic heart disease IHD. Mortality has a R2 of 0.86. People from Northern Ireland are estimated to consume 3.23 times more beta-casein A1 excluding cheese than the French. The remarkable agreement between mortality and the consumption of this allele suggests that this factor is worthy of serious consideration as a potential source of cardiovascular disease. Beta-casein A1 consumption also correlates strongly with type 1 diabetes incidence in 0 to 14-year-olds, suggesting that IHD and diabetes may share at least one causative risk factor. We can also see this research article, Is Dairy Arthritis Friendly? Understand the link between dairy and inflammation. One can go through in detail by reading this article in the internet. Professor T. Colin Campbell says, animal protein in cow's milk and other types of dairy can have a calcium leaching effect instead of promoting strong bones. This is a research paper. The topic is calcium, vitamin D, milk consumption and hip fractures, a prospective study among postmenopausal women. The conclusions of this research paper mentioned in the American Journal is this, that an adequate vitamin D intake is associated with a lower risk of osteoporotic hip fractures in postmenopausal women. Neither milk nor a high calcium diet appears to reduce risk. Because women commonly consume less than the recommended intake of vitamin D, supplement use or dark fish consumption may be prudent. I have also mentioned the Indian research. Another report published in the Indian Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism in 2012 indicates that it is associated as a risk factor for type 1 diabetes, coronary heart disease and mental disorders like autism and schizophrenia, because it may enter one's brain through blood. This is the detail of the Indian research. Milk proteins and human health. A1 A2 milk hypothesis. If you are interested, you can go through the details in internet. The Indian research paper mentions that populations which consume milk containing high levels of beta-casein A2 variant have a lower incidence of cardiovascular disease and type 1 diabetes. The A1 A2 hypothesis is both intriguing and potentially very important for public health if it is proved correct. Epidemiological evidences claim that consumption of beta-casein A1 milk is associated with a risk factor for type 1 diabetes, coronary heart disease, arteriosclerosis, sudden infant death syndrome, autism, schizophrenia, etc. This is another research article on A2 milk. It mentions A1 and A2 beta casein are genetic variants of the beta casein milk protein that differ by one amino acid. A genetic test developed by the A2 milk company determines whether a cow produces A2 or A1 type protein in its milk. Now this research article is very important. This is another research paper which mentions that A2 bovine milk and caprine milk as a means of remedy for milk protein allergy. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Have a nice day and it's bye for now.